What up, YouTube Digital? So, people want to hear stories from the past. Well, I got some stories. My wife and I got married. No, really, we didn't. Hmm. You know what? That was an eBay auction ending for for this camera. This one of those Wi-Fi uh, camera card things. And I'm thinking about getting one for my wife's camera, but I want to. A lot of these things have some. The cost is just ridiculous for them. So if you guys have a favorite brand, if you have one of those, the Wi-Fi SD cards or whatever, let me know. Because if I want to spend that much money, damn it, I want it to suck my dick or something. Or whatever. But anywho, all right. So this deal was something. My wife and I were sitting at home. It was my night off. My brother, who's technically my brother from another mother, well, actually another father too, but he was my stepbrother. He gives me a call. He was working for me at that time, and he gives me a call. And he's like, "Dude, I got these guys that are chasing the shit out of me, and him and his friend were downtown, and shit goes off." He goes, "I don't know what's going on. They have car club stickers on their cars. I don't know if they're pissed off at me or you or." I'm like, "Okay, all right. I'm on my way. You go find a place to chill." So I get in my truck, which at that time I had a 77 Chevy, and it was lowered, and let's see if I can pull up a picture of it. And it was all good, and so I get downtown, and I'm looking for him, and I'm not seeing him. Finally, I see him downtown, and there's these guys, chasing him around. And they were at like a block and a half ahead of me. But I saw him, run around and out and all this shit. So I'm sitting here at a red light, and I'm like, fuck it. And I just took off. And it wasn't the first time I did shit like that. Here's my truck on my wedding day. And so I take off, and I get up there, and my brother peels off, and I jump right on the rear of the guy that's obviously leading this bullshit deal, and I just start fucking chasing him around. Well, we're going through downtown, and you got a long road called the Esplanade. It splits, and it goes into one way this way, and then this way, and then later on it comes back into together. And I was on this way going up, and I saw them up by Taco Bell. Went up there, and I followed the guy back around this way. And at this time, by the time I can get up next to him and everything else, apparently there were two other girls in the car, and one of them called. We were on the phone with someone. I didn't know who the fuck it was or anything else. I didn't even know who the fuck this kid was. I didn't recognize the club sticker or anything else on it. I'm just like at the point where I started. This kid his mouth just kept fucking going. And finally, I'm ending up on the passenger seat. I'm fucking holding on the steering wheel like this, and I'm out the fucking window, like, trying to get my truck to get closer to him. Like, dude, I'm gonna rip you out of your fucking car and beat the shit out of you. And finally, the kid's like, he grabs the phone from his girlfriend, and he hears something, this and that, and he goes, yeah, they have your brother down the street. And he just takes off, and I'm like, oh, fuck. And we're coming right back where it comes back in together. And there's fucking cars. This is Friday night. There's, thousands of cars, going here and there and everywhere else. And so, right in front of them all, I just fucking jumped on the gas, spun it around, and proceeded to go back downtown, in which case I could not find my brother. Which kind of got, okay, what the fuck's going on? Well, during this time, this is my brother. Actually, my stepbrother. But, yeah. At this time, he was, and I didn't mention that's all weed behind him. But, he, what was I going to say? Oh. At this time, my boss was also on, because we had Nextel, so he was listening to it all, and he's like, dude, why don't you head this way? If we hear, from him and everything else, we'll have him come this way too. So I'm like, okay, this sounds like a plan. So this is him with a blast shield. He's doing a live panel. I can't remember how many volts, how many amps, whatever, but yeah. He's an industrial electrician guy. So basically, I'm sitting here, and matter of fact, I never showed him either. Hold on. My old boss or whatever, friend, he was the best man on my wedding. But anywho, so I'm heading over to his place. His place is out in the middle of fucking nowhere, and out in the orchards and stuff, shit like that. So I'm heading out there, and and I get down. Esplanade is a long ass road, and then you have to take East Avenue to get out to the orchards, which, funny enough, I lived on East Avenue. So I was like, okay, we'll head this way. And going down, and as I'm going down East Avenue, I'm doing like, oh God, 70 or so. I was always driving fast. I still do. And I see this car coming up, and I could tell it's lower because I could see the headlight doing this bit. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, okay, who the fuck is this guy? And as it's coming closer, I'm seeing it's a like a one of those cooler '80s Mercedes, the top one, the SLs or whatever the fuck they are. And I see that the windows are completely tinted. Even the windshield was fucking tinted. There was only a little gap like this that wasn't tinted, so I couldn't fucking see who was in there. But they're like flat. Now they're flashing their light, and they're like, they start rolling down a window. You hear, pull over, and I'm like, fuck you. I just take off even faster. I didn't have time for that shit. So I get to my boss's house. At that time, I hear. He told me, because I couldn't hear my car, my exhaust. He told me that my brother's on his way, and I'm like, okay, cool. And it wasn't not even a few minutes later that that Mercedes coming around the corner. We're out in the middle of nowhere, so it's instantly like, okay, there they are. Who the fuck is this guy? And my boss didn't know who the fuck they were. So I'm like, okay, so what the hell, who the hell is this? Why is this? All this shit. And they pull up, and they notice we kind of like positioned ourselves behind a car, his Falcon, and, we obviously had our hands on shit, trying to figure out who the hell this person is. And you hear them roll down the window. It's like, hey, dude, look, we're not fucking around. We got no problems or anything else. We just want to clear this shit up. And I thought I recognized the voice, and then they said their name, and I was like, no, because he has an S10. Okay, well, what the fuck ever. So they get out, and we looked at him, and we're like, oh, hey, what's going on? And apparently they just made a new car club that I didn't even know about. And the kid that's chasing my brother around is part of their car club. And apparently when I was next to him, his girlfriend was talking to them, and when they figured out it was me in the truck, they told him to get the fuck away from me, that I was going to fucking hurt him bad. And they told him to go hide, and that they were going to come find me and calm me down and fix it. So I'm laughing. I'm like, oh yeah? Huh, that's kind of funny. And so they're like, yeah, and I'm like, well, why don't we fuck with him? And they're like, okay. I'm like, okay, cool. Get him over here. About that time, my brother pulls up too. So this kid gets out there, and I poured all over him. I scared the shit out of him. And they could not... He was too young and I guess didn't get the problem. And I'm like, look, dude, you don't get it. You don't fuck with someone you don't know because you don't know who the fuck he knows. And that's going to cause a problem. Not only that, you're in a marked car with a sticker on that back window. That means if you hurt him, now I'm going to come back to you. But if I see anyone else with that sticker, they're going to get your beating. And I'm like, I'm sure that if I wanted to even be a part of this club, it wouldn't even be a problem. And I'm like, am I right? And they're like, no, you're in too. No problem. I'm like, if I was in this club right now, and I saw this shit going on, I would scrape your window myself. Because, damn it, if I was to get my ass beat because you did something fucking stupid. And then, we did a couple other things that weren't totally politically correct. But they're like, they knew it was all squash, but they just wanted to make a point, and they're like, dude, we told you to get the fuck away from him because he will fuck you up. He's not playing around. And my boss and I then, we pulled out our weapons and we had them sitting on the hood. Like, you never know who the fuck you're fucking with, who the fuck they're doing, what the fuck they're, anything. And the kid was like almost pissing himself. And it was funny because his girlfriends were actually shutting the fuck up, man. They were before, and then they shut up because they realized their boyfriend's a fucking punk ass. And so he told them to leave. And he ended up getting kicked out of the club later on, apparently. The funny thing about it is, the reason why they knew, like, we carried and stuff, we would fuck with people, and one of the games we used to do is, when people would come over and stuff like that, because, we were doing all types of weird shit back then, doing airbags, whatever. And when they'd come over and stuff, sometimes we'd fuck around with them. And one of the things we used to do is we had two, like, desks like this set up in the living room, and I would message him back and forth, and I said, fake fight? And then I'd just kind of look over at him, and he'd go, yeah. So we'd start like a fake fight and everything else, and we'd escalate it all the way outside, and they would be inside, watching whatever the fuck, but the security monitors were all right there, so you could see them. We could see us back and forth pushing, and all of a sudden we would purposely go off frame, and then we'd pull out our pistols, and go, bah, 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 bah. And then you just see them run by and fucking take off. It was fucking hilarious. Yes, we're assholes, but yeah, it was fucking funny. But anywho, so that was one story. Man, I wanted to beat that little fucking kid. The only reason I didn't is because I actually respected the other two guys. They were pretty cool. They saved that kid's ass that night. And the kid didn't even. The stupid thing is we gave that kid an option to squash it and just be done. I'm like, look, no, we can do this two ways. I said, if you think you're all bad and stuff, you want to take him on, you go right ahead, because I know he'll whoop your ass. And I said, if he doesn't whoop your ass, I'm going to whoop his ass. And I said, I can tell you right now, he's taking some pretty goddamn good beatings from me. So I don't think you're going to be able to hurt him. And he's like, no, I don't want to do that. And I'm like, why the fuck were you chasing him in the first place? Yeah. They thought because maybe he had glasses or something like that. I don't know. It was fucking stupid. But, I don't know. It was a fun night. But anyhow, that's just one. Peace.